Hello, hello. Here's Papa Dog eating a cooker. And I got some nice flowers. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Nice flowers for the Papa Dog. He doesn't want those. So, oh, Papa Dog, you are the best. Anyway, I just want to make a real quick sequel because my other tablet needed to be plugged in. Papa Dog and I, we went in the garden and I have this amazing, amazing brush growing there that grew by itself, and beautiful flowers for you, Papa Dog. Oh. And I picked these three, and I don't know what this is, but maybe someone knows. It is really small, like this, see? Small petals in a cluster. Real small petals in a cluster. It's the first time that this brush this year is having flowers. I didn't know what this brush was at all. It just grew there and Paul was about to cut it off. It grows in the middle of the lawn and I said, don't cut that off. We want all of these self-growing things. And now it has blue flowers from the blue god. And it smells a little bit like what's that name? Lilac? Could be lilac, so I'm not so sure what it is. But anyway, regarding the ego, this is the prototypical example of what the ego does. The ego is more interested in saving the ego's face towards other people. This is how much they put into how much weight they put into what other people think of them. The ego is more important than their own health care, their own governmental support. So if this means that they lose the governmental support, because they couldn't vote for Hillary Clinton, so be it. Because it's more important that their peer group respects them, that their drinking buddies respect them, or that they don't get bullied, or I mean, they could secretly vote for Hillary Clinton, but they couldn't do it. They could tell the buddies, I voted for Bernie or Trump, haha, me, macho, and then secretly vote for Hillary Clinton. But they couldn't do that either, because then they would stand trial within themselves. Then they would have to feel, just the feeling of it, of voting for Hillary Clinton would feel probably. I don't know, I'm not in their shoes, I'm just assuming this. I'm going by what I'm observing in the chat rooms. It's not that pretty, to tell you the truth. It's not that pretty. So I had to laugh so hard about my other video that I just made before. I had to laugh so hard about that I I laughed so hard that I had to cough outside, and I wonder what the neighbors were thinking. I hope they weren't thinking that I'm laughing about them or something. People are. They come to quick conclusions. But I had to laugh so hard, like Franz Kafka was laughing about his own stories. So, yeah. Sometimes I laugh very, very hard, but only when I'm by myself. And usually because Paul doesn't like it when I laugh loud. But yeah, when no one sees me or hears me, and I laugh really, really, really loud, and then I have to cough a whole lot because it stirs up mold in my lungs or whatever. And it's very liberating. It feels incredibly liberating to just be myself, you know, and not be really be the total opposite of those people in the chat room, to totally not care what someone thinks and what they are going to say to me. Yes, it does hurt, and yes, I feel rejected. Yes, I don't feel wanted and all of this. But the heck with it. It is so much better to be oneself, and to be able to be silly, and to be able to be artistic, and to value those precious things in life, like this flower, like to value yourself, to value most of all your baby animals and adult animals. They come first before anything else. When you get this, when you understand this groove of true love, that's what it is, then all that other stuff, all that other petty stuff, the peacocking and the wanting to be liked by someone, and yes, when it's a sexual urge and all of that, it becomes a little obscured and very difficult to see through, because you can't even analyze that apart anymore, what came first, and how it's all interwoven. But the ego is always involved with those type of things, always. And the ego always has both feet in the door with those kind of things, for sure, particularly when it comes to hormones and all of that. And for men it's like magnified like 100-fold. And that's why I feel sorry for them. I was a man in the life before the last. So my last life I was a Great Dane, and before that I was a man, and I still have memories of that life. And that was a horrible existence, even though that person already understood all of this with the peer pressure and all these things. If I'm gonna say no who, then everyone is gonna turn it off right away. So all I can say, he was a writer, but a very interesting person. And when I first came across his work, I was like, or people talking about his work. Like, I came across a story about him. I had never read anything. I had heard the name and his titles, but I didn't know what it was about. I heard people just kind of snub their noses on him, and I had no idea why. They didn't have any idea why either. And I was just so busy with my own teenage years and all of this that I didn't pay much attention to it. So it was much later in my 30s that I actually was introduced to his work. And the first feeling was a very familiar feeling of headache. And I didn't like it, but then I got into it more, and reading that novel, then I felt really sorry for that guy. And I felt like this funny feeling like that's me. And then I read the first book, that the most important of his works. And it was clear right there and then. That was clear. It just was there suddenly. It doesn't come with a drama and a lot of drums. It's just suddenly it's there, like I've always known. But I hadn't known before, but suddenly it's there. It's just suddenly clear or something. I don't know if other people can relate to that, probably not. But it doesn't matter. I see an awful lot of stuff. It's interesting on one hand, and it's very, very disturbing on the other side of the coin. So not easy, not an easy life. So I take every opportunity I have to, when I finally can laugh about something, and it's usually myself. It's usually me, and usually a situation where humor was not intended. That's always the funniest. Like when I went swimming with Alfie and Paul. When was that? In 2010. I can't say the location, but I was trying to find that video. I want to find that video. I think it's still in that other digital, in that really good camera with the zoom lens that Paul has. I think it's still in there because I could not find it in my files anymore anywhere. And I wanted to upload that. And boy, it looks so, oh my gosh, it's so hilarious. I mean, you don't need any mask building for that. You know, it's like someone will say, why don't you take your mask off? No, it's like, what do you mean? Which mask? This is how I look like, you know. And no, that swim video, that is really, that's hardcore. That's hardcore comedy, you know. I have to tell you that as soon as I dig that up, if I ever find that, I will upload that. It's a couple of years old, but it's still valid to this day. This is still how I look like. I have not changed since 2010, so. But it's not a picnic. It wasn't a picnic in 2010 either. So, no, it's those kind of things that I just find so unbelievably funny. And I think when you can do this, when you have that liberty, where you can just, where you are bird free, you know, on the creative level, on all levels, basically, where you have no more fear of what someone else thinks, you know, or I don't know if I'm 100% free of this, but I'm definitely free of that when it comes to creating things, when it comes to making art, you know. And in artwork, I have always been free, like in painting, sculpting, but I would have never been able to make a video in the past. The only time my brother made a video of me when I was drunk once, staggering drunk, and he showed it to my dad, which was really, really bad and mean. And my dad laughed the whole time, and he thought that was funny and kind of cool. I didn't. Looking back on that, there's nothing cool about this, of me being staggering drunk. It's pathetic and it's alarming, it's disturbing. But since my dad also likes the spirits a lot, so and never stopped liking the spirits way into his 80s and still does to this day. So he didn't seem to see anything wrong with it, I guess. But I sure do. I sure see a lot wrong with that. It's a lot wrong. But yeah, I quit all that shit when I was 25, so thank goodness. That was one heck of an insight I had there, and I just knew that's a dead end street. Why go in that direction? You can have a good laugh when you're sober, and so much better, you know. Laughing when you're sober, that's the best thing there is. There's nothing as good as that. You don't need alcohol, you don't need spirits to make you laugh. And I remember when we were laughing drunk, it was just, we laughed about really ridiculous stuff. And it was not even funny stuff, it was just like, whatever, yeah, whatever. Just give me a shot of morphine or shoot me in the bullet in the head, and so let's just laugh until it's all over. That kind of, I was in that kind of state, yeah. So that's not funny. So at least today I'm sober, I see the egos of other people, and I see how these egos take terrible offense to all kinds of little things. The mosquito on the wall, and so I always like to tickle people a little bit, like a mosquito does, just to wake them up, just think a little bit, man. Just a little bit thinking, at least, just a little bit coming out of that armor, a tentacle coming out of the armor and checking things out. And, oh, painful. I'll put it back in. But at least, checking things out and stopping the bullying of other people, So it's very interesting for me to see the dynamics in chat rooms. Very, very interesting from a psychological viewpoint. So, yeah, but I just wanted to clarify, this is what people do, they put their egos, which is, their the self-image that they have, this idea of, I am, for men it's really bad, I am this macho man caver, and so voting for Hillary, it's just like red flag, for a man caver to vote for Hillary Clinton. That's the epitome of opposition. That's the total opposition. That's the total. That's the enemy at the front, at the war front. So yeah, it's like, and I have to laugh about that because I find that incredibly hilarious. But yeah, I don't know how to help with this. I really don't know what to do unless I make some videos and put this into some kind of different perspective, show you a different perspective, and maybe you can see it from my point of view, just get a glimpse of it at least. I don't know. So yeah, so I just wanted to point out what the ego does. The ego goes so far that the ego will even, people will even kill themselves because of the ego. They would rather die than actually, rather not have health care and be poor, or be completely in total destitution, or jump from a bridge, or jump from a helicopter, or do very daring things, or flip a car over, or whatever. Do all kinds of things for the ego, to save their face in front of other people, and that is not freedom, that is being in shackles. That is being in complete mental shackles, and in terror and in fear. That's the worst terror and the worst stress someone can possibly live in. It's the opposite of flower power, empowerment. It's the opposite of laughing about yourself and being carefree from what other people think. Not carefree with the world, but at least carefree about your image to the world. These people who have to wear expensive clothes, or they lose their self-image, or they have to be they have to be academics, or they feel like they're total losers, or they have to, some people have their diplomas hanging on the wall. I find nothing more tacky than doing something like this. Also, to call themselves doctor, I find so incredibly outdated. I find that ridiculous. That's another self-image. Me doctor. No, it's sorry. It's all terrible. And all this gender war and this terrible sexism going on in men particularly. I mean, when women are sexist, it's a lash back. It's lashing back. It's it's out of frustration, and they're just tired of it. Yeah. It's just to mock them back. Yeah. There's no such thing as sexism in women. They're not sexist. So, but the sexism in men, now that's really hefty. It really, because the whole ego thing is attached to this. It's this whole thing. I see it when I hear people talk. It's, she's my bitch, or it's like, but the woman is an item for those people, and there's just no compassion at all. No compassion. The woman is this item, this object. It's like a toy, and the moment the woman has a mind on her own, she becomes a threat to those people. And boy, do they get angry. And that's what I'm talking about. That's that ego, They cling to the ego more than wanting harmony in interaction with others. That's more important to them. So all of these terrible things are more important to people. They even if it means that they're endangering themselves. It's more important to hang on to that self-image than harmony, health, even money. So the self-image is like everything for those people. And that's why I make these videos, because I want people to think about this. Think about this. Stop and think about this. This I'm addressing mainly at men. Think about this. Don't dismiss it now as, oh, she's just a woman, or she's just a crazy clown, don't listen to her, or she's just weird. Okay? Listen to it. I know what I'm talking about. Okay? So, peace out, bliss out.